counterterrorism official. Welcome. And this is an opportunity to review his office's budget, especially important given our dire financial straits. As part of a State Department reorganization, the administration would elevate the Ambassador's Office of the Coordinator for Counterterrorism to Bureau status. Certainly the counterterrorism portfolio is vital. Nevertheless, a certain skepticism is warranted in any reorganization in this town. What would the elevation have the office do better than it does today, or worse? Would the change portend a staffing and budget increase? Should an existing bureau be downgraded as an offset to this change? The administration requires congressional authorization for this, so we look to the Ambassador for answers on these questions. The State Department's request for counterterrorism activity is roughly $260 million. Its programs fund many small projects. For example, the administration is requesting $800,000 in anti-terrorism assistance for Malaysia. The Obama administration stresses that counterterrorism must be strategic, attacking the political, social, economic, and other ills abroad, and that the administration believes drive militant recruitment. But it's fair to ask whether these relatively small efforts can make a dent against these daunting challenges. And how do we measure their effectiveness? There are policy issues involved here, too. The Bush administration ill-advisedly removed North Korea from the state sponsors of terrorism list as part of a fruitless nuclear negotiation. Since its delisting, North Korea has proliferated to state sponsors of terrorism. And I have concerns about Sudan's likely delisting. We need to make sure its hands are clean. Subcommittee Member Poe has introduced legislation urging the Secretary of State to remove the People's Mujahideen Organization of Iran from the foreign terrorist organizations list, and we'll be looking at that. This Iranian exile group lives in a precarious security situation, being harassed and assaulted by Iraqi troops. The Obama administration entered office committed to addressing terrorism differently, and this was exemplified by its efforts to shutter Guantanamo Bay and bring 9/11 mastermind Khalid Sheikh Mohammed to New York for civilian trial. After bipartisan congressional action to prevent Gitmo detainees from being brought to U.S. soil, most agree that Gitmo will not be closed anytime soon. And in a major reversal, Attorney General Eric Holder announced that Khalid Sheikh Mohammed would not be prosecuted in civilian courts, but by a military commission at Guantanamo Bay. Good. The administration stressed that its predecessor's foreign policy drove anti-American militancy. But a 2009 USAID report notes the following. They say, "We need to recognize that many violent extremists are moved primarily by an unshakable belief in the superiority of certain values, by a perceived obligation to carry out God's command, or by an abiding commitment to destroy a system they view as evil or oppressive." In other words, variables located in the realm of identity, of faith, and spirituality matter a great deal. Those were the words of that USAID report from 2009. So extremism is about much more than U.S. foreign policy. Finally, Department of Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano recently claimed that security along our southern border is better now than it has ever been. Frankly, that's laughable given its rampant violence. And one of my constituents was just kidnapped, and I do want to thank the Ambassador for his help on this, because we were in consultation yesterday with his office on this, but was just kidnapped down in Mexico. And but at the same time, also yesterday, the State Department rescinded a travel warning that U.S. citizens could be targeted by drug cartels in 3 Mexican states. Well, he was abducted, it looks like, from the testimony that we received, the information we received, by members of a drug cartel. So I wonder about this judgment. And there's growing concern over illegal southern border crossings by individuals from Somalia, from Pakistan, from Yemen, and other countries home to active terrorist organizations. We'd better start treating border security as national security. I'll now turn to the ranking member for his comments, Mr. Brad Sherman from Los Angeles, California.